Hello, everybody. We are going to be doing this podcast thing. I've never really done one before, but I didn't even know what to talk about. So, me and Isee over there, we're going to talk about fear because that's the first thing that came to mind. And I don't know that much about fear. I did buy Fear like a long time ago, and like in 2008, and it was pretty good whenever I played it back then on the PS3, and I don't know. I really didn't do much with it because it's kind of difficult, I thought. It's a little more advanced of an FPS than I had played before. Because the most advanced one I played was either Black or Halo. So, I mean, I really don't have any comments on Fear since I never really played them after that. But, I'm just going to be asking some questions here because I don't know, and maybe you guys don't know either about Fear, and I just figured I'd ask some questions here. So, uh, first off, I guess what I'd say is, which is the best Fear game, which is the worst Fear game, and should you have to play them in order?
The best F.E.A.R game is, of course, 1, and the worst F.E.A.R game is, of course, 3, only because they get less scary as you go on. The first one was like, oh my god, barbecue waffles, what the fuck's around this corner? And then the third one was like, there's only one jump scare through this whole fucking game.
Uh-huh. And you'll have to apologize if this thing does, like, Dale's robot voice, what we like to call it, because sometimes Skype does that, and...
That's boom hours.
Uh, but yeah. So why is the third game not? You'd think that the third game would be
The
the
third
best
game is
one.
basically Call of Duty at the ass-tized, is what
Uh-huh.
I like to call it. Kind of like what they did with Resistance, too. It's like, you can only carry 2 weapons throughout the whole game. You have your knife, of course, and that's pretty much it.
Hmm. Okay.
And it's like, you got your, well, they introduced it in the second game, but it's like you got your mech sequences,
Uh-huh.
and you got your rail shoot sequences, I think. It's been a while since I played it. Let me think back on it real quick. No, there are no rail shooters. There is an infinite ammo chapter, though. It's like, oh, unlimited pistol ammo for you. But 1 is the best because it challenges you. It doesn't have regenerative health. It doesn't have armor and health pickups all over the place. It actually challenges you.
Uh-huh. And what about the PC versions, or have you,
I mean, the expansion.
is there, well, just about PC version in general? Since the PC one came out first, do you have any thoughts on that?
I never really played the PC version. I guess if you did, you could set up to how it would run and how it would look, but I played it on PS3 and it looked fine to me.
What about the expansions? Like, what about, like, being on Xbox and all that?
I didn't mind him on Xbox. The only thing I remember about while playing expansions is like, oh my fucking god, my balls just jumped through my throat.
So, the first one was scary, but the expansions are
Perseus
scarier.
Mandate has to be the scariest Fear 1 game expansion of the 2.
Uh-huh.
Because it's just, it feels like a full-length game. I think it's like 8, 9 hours long, whereas the Fear 1 game itself is like 15 or 16 hours. Can't remember.
But what about Fear? Is Fear action horror or is Fear survival horror?
I'd say a mix of the two. Because there's not many monsters in the game per se. They're mostly part of your illusion.
Oh, but I
Um,
thought I thought there weren't monsters. I thought they were like human dudes shooting at you.
they are, but in certain spots of the game, it's like, oh, your mind projects these enemies. Like you go into hallucinations, and there's enemies that can hurt you.
And that's when you do the Matrix.
Yes,
Do you get to do that in all the games or just the first game?
you get to do it in all the games. The bullet time, yes, you can do it in all the games,
Uh-huh.
with the exception of the bonus missions on Fear 1, where you play as uh, the Delta operators, and you go into the building.
Yeah, speaking of that, who do you play? Do you play as the same dude in every game?
The first game you play as Point Man, which he doesn't have a name. I don't know if I should release spoilers or not.
Yeah, go
Game's
ahead.
Game's been out for like 6 years. If you don't know it by now, then you need to fucking grow up. In the first game, you play as Point Man, which is basically Alma's son. And
Wait, you gotta explain who Alma is, too, because some people may have never played this, and they're probably like, who's that?
Alma Wade is the girl in the little red dress that you see throughout the whole fucking game. And then eventually her dad releases her out of suspended cryogenics or whatever it is. And she basically goes on a fucking warpath, and you destroy her with a nuke.
Is she a grudge girl?
Yes, she is a grudge girl.
So she's like grudge girl. Is she like the ring girl?
Only when she's in her adult form.
Ring girl comes out of the TV, so is she like ring girl, or is she just like, hi, I'm a grudge girl that walks down the stairs?
Well, if you want to count it as coming out of nowhere, sure. And the first game, that's the only time she's really the grudge girl, because she does the grudge crawl act, where she's on the floor and it's like, oh, crawling spider at you. I'm like, fuck your couch.
So then, okay, so the first game is whoever that dude is. Then the second game, okay, then who's in the second game? Or what happens, basically...
Let me finish the first one.
Yeah, what happens at the end of the first game?
As Point Man, you kill Paxton Fettel, who is your biological brother and Alma's second son.
Uh-huh.
Then you kill Alma, supposedly.
So you kill your mom.
Yeah, basically. In this three-part sequence that it's just like, you have a submachine gun and a pistol and a couple grenades, and that's it. I'm like, I just had a fucking penetrator cannon. What happened to it?
So then what's F.E.A.R 2?
F.E.A.R 2, it takes place of... I can't remember his name. He's a Delta operator. Sergeant Beckett. I think that's his name. Yeah, Sergeant Beckett. And basically, you've got to go kill Alma again, except this time you have a team on your hands.
So why doesn't she die in the first game?
Something about at the end of the game, it's like, oh, the power of feelings can't be held down that much, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever.
So it's like some emotional Degrassi stuff right there.
Kinda. But in the second game, you go into Sergeant Beckett because you've been... This is the only easy way to describe it. You've been inserted with Alma's skin.
Her skin?
Yeah, like part of her tissue, and it's merged with you. And basically now you have all the powers the Point Man does.
Oh, but you don't have grudge girl powers.
No.
Well, what kind of a power is that if you don't have grudge girl powers?
Anyway, for the rest of the game, since you have the same signature as hers, she's basically trying to track you down and fucking consume your ass. Like some sort of fat girl with cookies.
Okay.
And at the end of the game, the bitch that's the Armacam president CEO, she basically locks you in this chamber with Alma, kills your only remaining teammate except for the one Mexican driving the truck.
Wait, why are there Mexicans in the game?
He's the truck driver.
But that's all he does?
And then you basically...
Wait a minute. Wait, you didn't explain the Mexican truck driver. I didn't even know there's Mexicans in this game.
I don't know if he's Mexican per se, but I just...
Well, does he roll up and go, "Hey, SA, I'm the truck driver"?
It's an APC, but...
Oh.
It's a...
Hey,
pretty
SA.
much what he does is drive. I think he only fights 2 times.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, fuck, I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about what happens in the room.
You get locked in this basic cube,
Uh-huh.
and you have this nightmare battle with someone else from your squad who's like, why didn't Alma pick me? I'm her favorite. And then you basically kill him by, I think, smashing his fucking face in.
So does he want to, like, get it on with Alma or no?
Something like that.
And
then,
how old is Alma? If she's a grudge girl, is she a lolly? Or no? Or is she, like, really old? Like thousands of years
let me
old?
think. Point Man was 15 when he was... Point Man was born when Alma was 15, and he's in his early 20s, so that would put her around.
But she has the body of a little girl.
She can change her body.
Oh.
It's all an illusion. In real life, she's emaciated. She's just this.
What's that mean?
Emaciated means you're malnourished.
So she's Ethiopian.
Pretty much.
Okay, so what happens at the end of the second game?
She rapes you inside the cube, and that's
reverse.
Like,
is it reverse rape?
Yes, because you're strapped into a chair.
And what does the guy? Is he enjoying it or no?
I don't think so.
And he's not any relation.
No.
So they're not having inbred babies.
No.
Okay, so then she's prego, and you get to see some.
Instantly pregnant.
Oh, not 9 months. It's just instantly like hentai, swell up belly,
pretty much
pregnant. Okay, wait. So then we see screenshots in magazines and stuff for F.E.A.R 3, while the E is now a 3 for whatever reason.
Because like Driver 3.
That's what I was getting ready to say. And so now she's pregnant. So you just told me the ending of the second game. So now what's the third game? Same dude?
Third game picks up as Point Man again. This time you actually see his face. And he kind of looks like, what the fuck's his name?
So this takes place after the first game?
Yes. And basically, F.E.A.R has come back from the dead and revived you.
And wait, what happens to the guy? What happens to the guy who gets reverse raped?
Armacam captures him.
But he doesn't die?
He dies in the third game, yeah.
Oh. When?
But when F.E.A.R possesses him and makes his head explode.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, his whole body explodes.
Oh, well, do you get to see that, or do they, just do the sound?
Yeah, you get to see it.
Oh, okay. Does it look cool, or does it look not scary?
I was unimpressed. I was just like, oh boy, body explode. I've seen this about 3 times now.
But if you didn't play Perseus Mandate, would you have felt that that was better than what you thought?
You mean scarier than what I thought?
Well, either way, scarier, better. If you didn't play Perseus
F.E.A.R 1
Mandate,
is still scarier than F.E.A.R 3.
Okay. What about F.E.A.R 2?
That's in between.
So now back to F.E.A.R 3.
Basically, you are captured by Armacam, and then it's like, oh, your brother breaks me out of prison, and you go and fucking kill everybody, pretty much.
As Point Man.
Yeah. Or if you have a co-op partner, you can play as F.E.A.R.
And then when does Alma have the baby? Or is it a baby?
At the end of the game. Yes, it's a baby.
And does that lead up for F.E.A.R 4?
No.
Why not?
Because depending on who you win as, depends on who you play as and who gets the higher score, it determines the ending of the game.
So there's multiple characters.
Well, it's either the Point Man ending or the F.E.A.R ending.
Oh, okay. And do you get to choose them both at the start, or is it just like halfway through, like Halo, and then it's like
you can
the
only
place?
choose. You have to beat the game first as Point Man before you can choose F.E.A.R.
So no matter what, first time playthrough, you're always going to get the worst ending or the not true ending, and then you play it again.
The Point Man ending is Alma dies and Point Man takes the baby and raises it.
And then what happens to the baby? Or is that explained?
It doesn't say.
So they could set it up for F.E.A.R 4.
And
say, like, Alma's grandma comes from the grave and it's like, huh? Wasso.
And Jun Soon Kwon is in it. She's a medical officer from the first game.
Is she Asian?
Yes.
Oh, she sounds Asian.
It's like Point Man's like, my dick.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not joking with that either. He's like, I like this girl.
Like, how much?
Like, to the point of traveling clear across the fucking compound to save her. Instead of doing his fucking job.
Well, I heard a drink back there. What are you drinking on this podcast?
Tea.
What kind of tea?
Just regular tea. Makes tea.
Well, is it made with a mix, or is it like tea bags?
It's instant.
So it's tea bags.
No.
Oh, it's not. Oh, it's powder.
It's powder tea.
Powder tea.
I think you mix with water and sugar.
Well, is that all you wanted to say, or you got more to add? How about on the
Yeah, we just
expansions?
talked about Extraction Point.
Yeah, I was gonna
She's
say. Okay, well, then let's talk about the expansions. Are they on all systems, or are they only on Xbox?
Xbox and PC only.
Not PS3?
Nope.
Not at all? Not even DLC?
Nope.
Well, I thought
And
somebody
there's the
said
Fear
that...
2. There's the Fear 2 expansion, but I never played that. I didn't download it.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with the story, though, anyway. So.
Oh, well, okay. But, okay, so, wait, you should explain about developers and who developed all the games, because it's had, like, 900,000
Well,
different
Monolith did
developers.
the first game and the second game, and WB produced, or yeah, published the last two. And that's about it.
Well, what about the expansions? Are those really part of the story, or...
No, they're not part of the story.
And who made
They're
them?
made. They're made from a different company. I can't remember their name. Um, Sierra, no, Timegate Studios
For the second game or the third game? Or the expansion?
for the expansions.
Do you still own the expansions?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh.
did the walkthroughs of them. I was like, selling.
Ah.
What are you selling?
So, okay, so what are the expansions?
Extraction Point basically picks up right after the end of the first game, where your helicopter crashes.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to think how to describe it. You're at the end of the first game, when you get extracted by the helicopter and you've defeated Alma from the blue monsters that she spawns, and it's like infinite fucking slow mo. And that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite parts of the entire game, because I always like to use the dual pistols at that part. It's just like, But after you defeat her and the chopper picks you up and the nuclear reactor explodes, she basically grudge crawls into the chopper and it blows up. And that's where the expansion picks up.
Oh.
And basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to the roof of a hospital. And we know how F.E.A.R is with hospitals.
Well, how is it with hospitals for the viewers that don't know?
Everything's possessed and bullshit.
Are there nurses?
No, everybody's dead except for the soldiers.
Oh, I was going to say if there were nurses, I was going to ask if they're like night shift nurses.
Dear God.
What if it was, but with Alma as the nurses?
No.
But what if there was?
No.
It'd be like Rule 34 all over again. Is there... Yeah, speaking of that, let's go ahead and ask that question, because I'm sure you would know of all people. Is there Rule 34 of F.E.A.R?
I've never found any.
I figured they would re-simulate the scene at the end of F.E.A.R 2, so I just figured I would ask. Wait, so... Okay, so, speaking of that, why is F.E.A.R 2 called Project Origin? Or does it mention that?
Because they called it Project Origin because the Origin Project, which was the project to create Point Man and F.E.A.R. And I forgot to mention this part. Point Man and F.E.A.R are actually made from Alma's father's DNA.
Then who's the dad?
Alma's father.
Yeah, but do you know who the dad is?
Alma's father.
No, I know. Yeah, but who is he?
Harlan Wade.
Is he ever explained any further than that? Is he a demon?
Yeah. No, she basically fucking kills him.
Does she rape him too?
No, she just makes his head explode. He flies against the door, and that's the last you see of him until the third game.
And what does he do in the third game?
Then he comes back as some sort of crotchless, gutless, and mouthless demon and chases you around and is like, "You will not help her." I'm like, "Nigga, you need to get off my face right now." And he attacks you, and he's like, "Oh, I give you this horrible migraine." Ugh, I hold my head, stand back up, and continue fighting.
And so shotguns just don't kill him.
No.
So what kills him?
Some hallucination.
Okay, then I got another question about the weapons. Is it just guns, or are there special guns? Like, special, like...
There's laser rifles.
Yeah, okay. Well, explain those to me.
Well, and Extraction Point, Perseus Mandate, and Fear 2 and 3. I think 3 has a laser rifle, but I'm not sure.
So, which game
Yeah.
which game's the easiest?
2.
And which one's the hardest?
1.
And
No.
which one would you highly recommend?
1.
And which one would you highly not recommend?
3.
Let's see. Okay, here's another question about the expansions. Would you recommend buying the expansions or just watching a walkthrough of the expansions?
If you want to get the shit scared out of you on your own, buy it. If you want to watch someone get the shit scared out of them like me, just watch it.
Okay. Well, I don't know if there's anything else I can ask unless you got some final...
Redeads.
Redeads?
Yes.
Like from Zelda. Like from
Yes.
Zelda.
They're fucking redeads in Extraction Point and Perseus Mandate.
So they hump your face. Because they hump Link's face.
I'm sure if they walk at you, they would. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But they don't hump you, they just walk towards you.
They don't walk, they just hang in the air. Oh my god, thinking about it now is giving me chills, son of a bitch.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me ask you something about the enemies. What are the different enemies in the game, besides the redeads and then the regular dudes who are we're like SWAT team, but super accurate?
Those are the, I don't know if they're called the super soldiers. They're basically, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called, hang on. You got Armacam personnel, which are basically just mall cops. You've got the replicas. That's what they are. The replicas. I can think of what they are. The replicas are the super soldiers that you basically encounter throughout the whole game, and they have different varying levels. Like there's standard soldier, lieutenant, and commander, and each one of them have different types of weapons, and they're harder and tougher to kill. Then you have your heavy armored enemies, which they usually in the first game they have a nail gun. They're fucking tough to bring down.
Uh-huh.
And then you have your armored enemies, and that's pretty much it. There's the spooks from Alma's dreams or psychotic sequences when you encounter her, which are basically just like these. They're not formless, but they have a form, but you can't see them.
Uh-huh.
The only way you can see them is like this slight glow around them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I forgot about the assassins. The assassins in F.E.A.R. 1.
And then after that, I got 2 more questions, and I would assume we're wrapping it up unless you ever have anything more to add, because I got 2 more questions.
Okay. The assassins in F.E.A.R. 1, they have a cloaking device, and they basically jump at you and hit you with electric shocks. And they're fucking pain in the ass.
Anything else on the enemies?
Elma's nightmares. They're these blue things that...
Did you say Elmo's nightmares?
Alma's nightmares.
Well, Skype cut out, and it sounded like you said Elmo's nightmares. And then I tried picturing Monolith Software making Elmo's nightmares.
God damn.
Getting like some ROM hack of like Sesame Street on Super Nintendo and just turning it into Elmo's nightmares.
Anyway.
I think that would have been cool.
And the Perseus Mandate expansion, there's the Night Crawlers, which are the dudes that just be like, he's moving up on us. Target down. Shoot at him. Oh. That's pretty much all they do.
You want me to add my questions now, or do you got anything else to explain?
And then one more.
Okay.
Redead.
You already explained Redead.
I know, but I gotta explain them again. They are just... In one part of Perseus Mandate, after one of your teammates dies, you try to help him out of this hole that he's been sucked into. And it's just fucking tearing up his legs. He's like, oh god, help me. And you go to grab his hand and you try to pull him out, but it's like, suck him in. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? and then these other spook things come after you, but they're basically the same spooks from the first game. And you get to this underground facility, and it's just like there are these 5 rebeds behind the glass when you approach it, and they just fucking scream. And it is the most horrifying thing I have ever seen.
How about that one where you're walking in that glass thing and then the lights cut off and it goes or whatever?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
On the beginning of my previous mandate walkthrough, I put it in there for everybody to see. It was just like, this is what you're going to suffer through for the next 30 parts.
Then you can be like Xbox 45 full and get scared and stop posting playthroughs of scary games.
I mean, when I seen that for the first time, I just fucking jumped. I was like, It wasn't so much as it surprised me, I was just like, what the fuck was that? I don't even know if I want to go into that room now.
Okay, I got 2 more questions, and I think we'll just wrap this up, because it's probably getting kind of long. I haven't timed it, because I can't really time it, but...
Okay.
2 more questions. One is, are there any useful, cheap, unuseful weapons? What are the weapons like in the game?
You can breeze through the first game with dual pistols, the penetrator, which is basically a fires 10mm tungsten rounds, and the shotgun.
Oh, okay.
Either the pump action or the semi-automatic. I like the semi-automatic.
What about for the other games, or is it pretty much the same formula?
The second game is actually cool in that it lets you have 4 different types of grenades and 4 different types of guns. So, you'll by the end of the game you'll hold on to the assault rifle, either the laser cannon or the penetrator. I don't usually keep a hold of the pistol. I'm trying to think of all the guns in that game. The automatic shotgun. That's a good gun to have at the end of the game.
No triple barrel shotguns in this game?
No triple barrel shotguns.
Is that Turok Evolution?
Turok Evolution. Oh, okay. Turok Evolution it's a pump action where you can load 4 shells into the barrel and fire them all at once.
Oh, okay. No, maybe that was Resident Evil 5.
Resident Evil 5 is a triple barrel break action shotgun.
Okay. Okay, so I got one more question, unless you had more to add on the weapons for F.E.A.R 3 or Perseus Mandate or any of the expansions.
F.E.A.R 3, they give you weapons out the ass. So.
Oh, okay. So my final question is health. How is health on the game? Is it regenerative, or is it like Halo 1 where you have to like find med packs? And how difficult is it to come by for health? And do you have to like duck and cover, or can you just breeze through the game?
On the first game, you do have to take cover, because if you get surrounded, which if you're in a pretty large open area, there's a good chance you get surrounded, and they'll just chew away at your health and armor. But on the first game, yeah, you do have to pretty much take cover. On the second game, not so much, because it's just like, armor and health pickups everywhere. And on the first 2 games, you can store health kits, but I mean, you're going to whirl through them if you're in a firefight just standing out in the open. And on the first game, it only heals 50 health. And in the second game, it just heals your whole health bar.
Oh, okay.
And the harder the difficulties you put them on, the less med kits there are for the game. And then the third game is just regenerative health.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up this podcast of F.E.A.R and all of that. We pretty much covered everything. Do you think there's going to be a F.E.A.R 4? You say no?
I hope not.
You hope not? Not even if it gets in better hands, like, let's say, I don't know. Survival horror is getting kind of desperate at the moment, but let's just say it went to, I don't know, anybody. Any real good like, if Monolith took it back, or
If Monolith took it back or Konami took development of it, I could see it.
Well, Konami's got those studios that have been doing the recent Silent Hills that have been kind of meh. But,
I think with ending for Fear 3, I don't think they can expand on it anymore.
okay. Well, I would say that concludes it, unless you have any final thoughts. Or unless you covered everything.
Redeads.
Redeads, that's
I
it?
fucking hate Redeads.
Okay, well, you won't have to play another one.
I fucking hate going through underground buildings and it's like Redeads everywhere.
Oh, well, I guess I could ask this, unless we may have already answered it, but what's it better on, Xbox or PlayStation? I mean, of course we could say PC, but since you haven't played PC, I can't really ask you that. But keyboard and mouse, I would say make a difference, but again, I would say on personal preferences. But let's just say with what you played, Xbox, PS3.
Fear 1, um, Fear 2, I'd say Xbox only simply because of the triggers and their layout, and then Fear 3 for PS1 because it just you don't have to pay to play online with your friend.
Oh, okay. All right,
The on,
well, oh, go ahead.
the online for that game is just it's not that great.
All right, well, I think that's going to conclude it for this podcast. Thanks for watching. And do you got anything left to just say? Final words besides Redeads? Nothing else?
Mm, it kind of pisses me off when people call it fuck everything and run.
Oh. You mean, did OTG start that, or was
I
that
don't.
just an old saying?
It's just fucking stupid. I was like, heard this joke a million times. Shut it.
Oh. You gotta end with the cocking gun. That's
Indeed.
alright. Well, catch us for another podcast of whatever it's gonna be. I may be interviewed next time. I have no idea, but I just didn't know how to start this, and we just said, hey, want to do Fear? Let's do a podcast. So, first podcast, I'll try and improve it as it goes along. And thanks for watching or listening or whatever. I should have said you could run this in the background because it's just going to have this static image for the whole thing. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I guess we will see you all later.